How did one stupid backup groom joke turn into my husband handing me papers in a bright lobby while strangers watched? Why did he look calm while I felt like my lungs forgot how to work? What happens when the whole story you posted online comes back as a legal result you can't talk your way out of? My name is Berenice Calder, but most people call me Berry. I was 34, and I worked in HR at a logistics company. I was good at reading people. I knew how to make a room like me. I also knew how to make one person look wrong without saying I did it. That night was supposed to be easy. Janelle invited me to a rooftop bar downtown. She said we needed air and music. She said I was always trapped at home with rules and moods. I agreed because I liked the way she talked. She made my life sound like a movie, not like a tired routine. Evan came too. He was my husband. He was 36, and he built bridges and roads for the city. He always dressed the same, like he was going to a meeting. He looked clean and serious. People called him stable. I used that word like it meant boring. On the way there, he asked if I really wanted him to come. I said yes, because I did not want him to look suspicious later. He asked what later meant. I said he always overthought things. He got quiet after that, and I told myself it was his choice. At the bar, the wind was cold, but the heaters made it feel warm. The lights were soft. Everyone wanted photos. Janelle kept her phone up like it was part of her hand. She introduced Evan to people like he was a guest, not my husband. She asked him what he did. He said he was an engineer. She asked if he could build her a new life. He gave a small smile and said he could build a safe bridge. She rolled her eyes, like his words were a joke. I watched him stand near the railing, looking down at traffic. It was like he was already leaving, without moving. I told myself he did that to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to beg. Janelle brought me a drink. She said it was light and fun. Evan asked if I should eat first. I said he was not my dad. He said he was only worried. I said worry was another word for control. He looked embarrassed, and I liked that. It made me feel taller. My other friends came over. They asked me how married life was. I said it was fine, but I also said Evan could be intense. I said he watched everything. I said he always needed to know where I was. Evan heard some of it. He asked me later why I said that. I said I was joking, and he was too sensitive. Then Miles showed up. Miles was 35. He did wedding videos and small ads for local shops. He had that smile that made people lean in. He said he knew Janelle from a party shoot. He said he did not plan to come, but someone told him we were here. Janelle acted surprised, like it was fate. She brought him into our circle fast. Miles looked at me like I was the main thing in the room. He asked how I had been. I said I was busy, as always. He said I looked like I did not sleep enough. I laughed and said marriage did that. Evan looked at us then. He asked who Miles was. I said he was just someone Janelle knew. Janelle started her jokes right away. She said Miles was too nice to be single. She said some women would lock him down fast. Miles smiled and said he had not met the right woman. Janelle looked at me and lifted her eyebrows. She asked if I wanted to tell the truth. I asked what truth. She said I always kept a backup plan. She said I was the type who had a backup groom waiting. People laughed. I laughed too. I laughed because it was easier than stopping it. I laughed because the sound made me feel safe. Evan did not laugh. He asked what she meant. I said it was just her humor. He asked why it was funny. I said he had no social skills. I said he always made things heavy. Janelle raised her phone again. She said she wanted a short video. She said it was for memories. She moved close and asked me to smile. I did. Evan stepped back. Janelle said he should come in, and she said he looked like the sad god in a romance movie. Someone else said he looked angry. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. Evan asked me later if I wanted to leave. I said no. I said he could leave if he wanted. I said I would not be shamed for having friends. He asked why everything had to sound like a fight. I said because he always made it one. Miles offered to get me water. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and Evan was being dramatic. Miles nodded like he understood. That nod felt like a small hand on my back. It pushed me forward. Evan stood near us again. He asked me to talk outside for a minute. I said there was nothing to talk about. He asked if I could stop the jokes. I said he should stop acting like a victim. I told him the real problem was that he hated seeing me happy. That was the story I liked. In that story, I was bright and alive, and he was the shadow trying to pull me down. I did not want to admit I liked the attention from Miles. I did not want to admit I liked Janelle making me look wanted. I wanted to believe I was only taking what I deserved. When the night ended, Evan drove us home. He did not yell. He did not speed. He did not break anything. He was careful, like always. That carefulness made me mad. I wanted him to do something big so I could point at it later. At home, I walked ahead of him. In the kitchen, I saw his wall calendar. A new reminder was written in clean letters. Meeting, personal 9:30 a.m. I did not ask about it. I told myself it was work. I also saw a folder on the counter with a simple label, Utilities. It was not new, but it looked straighter than usual, like someone had just lined it up. Evan asked if we could talk. I said I was tired. He asked if I understood how it looked. I said it only looked bad if he wanted it to. He asked if I cared about his feelings. I said he cared too much about himself. He went to the guest room. I stayed in our bedroom. I opened my phone and saw the first tag from the bar. Janelle posted the video. The caption had the words, "Backup Groom," and a ring emoji. People had already commented with laughing faces and questions. I stared at the screen and told myself it was nothing. I told myself Evan would calm down. I told myself I could control it. But my stomach felt tight, like it knew something my mind did not want to know. The next morning, I woke up with the bar light still in my head. My phone kept buzzing like it was proud of itself. The video had more views than I expected. People I barely knew had liked it. Some had written jokes about rings and weddings. A few asked if Miles was my real man. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was proof that I still had value. Evan was already up. I heard the coffee machine and the quiet scrape of a mug. When I walked into the kitchen, he did not look at my phone. He looked at the sink like it needed his full attention. I said he was acting like I hurt him on purpose. He asked why my friend said I had a backup groom. I said Janelle said silly things for attention. He asked why I laughed. I said laughing did not mean agreement. I said he was taking a joke and turning it into a trial. He asked if I could ask Janelle to take it down. I said no, because it would look like guilt. I said he wanted to control my friends. He said he only wanted respect. I said, respect followed results, and I had results. Even now, I still think that line sounded strong. The kids came in, both messy and loud. Noah asked if we were going somewhere fun again. Elsie asked for cereal and a cartoon. Evan asked Noah about school. He spoke normal with them. That made me angry in a quiet way. I wanted him to look broken, because it would prove I mattered. Instead, he just did the morning steps like a list. When Evan packed Noah's lunch, I saw his wall calendar again. He had written more small blocks, like a grid. One square said, meeting, personal 9:30 a.m. Another said, paper drop 4:10 p.m. The words looked neat, like he had practiced. I asked what those were. He said it was his schedule. I said it sounded dramatic. He said it helped him remember things. I said he never needed reminders before. He did not argue. He put the lunches in the bags. Then he opened a drawer near the fridge. I heard a soft click like a lock. I froze for half a second. He closed it and acted like nothing happened. I told myself it was a new habit. I told myself he was hiding snacks, like a child. I did not let my mind go further. At school drop-off, I tried to act like a friendly mom. I smiled too much. I waved at people I did not even like. A parent I knew only a little asked how my husband was. I said Evan was stressed with work and sometimes took it out on me. I did not say the word cheating. I did not say the word miles. I said stress like it explained everything. At my office, the story followed me inside. Janelle had tagged me and added my workplace location like it was cute. People at the front desk had seen it. One of the younger assistants asked if I was engaged again. I laughed and said people online were dramatic. She said the comments were wild. I said the internet loved a rumor. I walked through the open plan floor, like nothing touched me. I was good at that. I knew how to keep my face smooth. I greeted my team. I asked about deadlines. I answered emails fast. I told myself that a good worker could not be a bad person. It was a comfortable lie. Around mid-morning, my manager, Dana, asked me to step into the small HR side room. Dana was not mean, but she was direct. She said she needed a quick word. I said sure, and I smiled like I had no fear. Inside, Dana asked if my social media was connected to our company name. I said sometimes, but it was personal. Dana said the tag had spread and people were talking. Dana said a vendor had mentioned it on a call. I asked if I was in trouble. Dana said it was not formal, but it was a risk. Dana asked if I could be careful. I tried to sound calm. I said it was a joke and my husband was sensitive. Dana asked if there was anything else going on that could become a bigger issue. I said no, and I made my eyes wide like I was honest. Dana said okay, but she wanted fewer public posts. I said I understood. I left the room with a tight smile. At my desk, I opened a spreadsheet to look busy. It was just numbers and dates. I stared at it without seeing it. My phone lit up again. Janelle wrote that Evan was being weird and that men could not handle jokes. She said I should post something strong, like a selfie with a caption about not shrinking. I wrote back that she was right. I liked when someone else said it first. Miles sent a message too. He said the clip was funny and he said I looked good. He asked if I was okay. I said Evan was acting cold. Miles said I deserved warmth. That line sat in my chest like a sweet drink. I did not answer right away, but I did not delete it either. After lunch, I went to the restroom and checked the comments again. Someone had written that Evan looked humiliated. Someone else wrote that I would leave him soon anyway. My face got hot, not from shame, but from power. I told myself I was not humiliating him. I told myself he chose to stand there like a statue. If he wanted respect, he could have fought for it. When I got home, the house felt quiet in a sharp way. The kids were with Evan at a nearby park, according to the shared family app. I walked into the kitchen and saw the counter cleared. The utilities folder was gone. In its place was another folder, thicker, with a simple label. Household. The label was plain. It made me nervous because it looked serious without trying. I went upstairs and saw the guest room door half closed. The bed looked slept in, but neat. 2 mugs sat on opposite sides of the kitchen counter, like they belonged to 2 different homes. I hated how small things could speak. Evan came back with the kids near dinner. Noah ran past me and said he had a good day. Elsie hugged my leg and asked for a snack. Evan asked if we could talk after they ate. I said we could, but I also said he needed to stop sulking. After the kids went to their rooms, Evan sat at the table, not too close to me. He asked if I was seeing someone. I laughed and said he was paranoid. He said the joke and the messages and my late nights did not match. I said he was spying on me. He said he was not spying. He said he was noticing. I told him he was insecure. I told him his insecurity was pushing me away. I told him he was creating the thing he feared. He asked why I always turned it back on him. I said because he always started it. I said he made me feel small, and I was done feeling small. He did not raise his voice. He stood up, washed his cup, and walked toward his laptop in the living room. I followed, still talking, because silence felt like losing. He opened the screen, then closed it the second I got behind him. The motion was quick and clean, like a door shutting. He looked at me and asked if I was finished. I said I was finished when he stopped acting like I was the enemy. He nodded once, like he was marking a point in his mind. Then he went to the guest room and shut the door softly. I stood in the hallway landing, listening to the quiet, and I wondered what he had just hidden from me. I told myself the next day would be normal. I said the rooftop mess would fade like any other post, but it did not fade. It became a small shadow that followed me into every room. That afternoon, I said I was going to the gym. Evan asked what time I would be back. I said he was not my boss. He said he only needed to plan dinner and the kids' baths. I said he could handle one evening without a schedule report. He nodded like he accepted it. That nod annoyed me more than a fight. At the gym lobby, the air smelled like rubber mats and citrus cleaner. The front desk girl smiled and scanned my phone. I heard the beep and I liked it. It made my choice sound healthy, not messy. Miles waited near the vending machine like he belonged there. He said he was early for a shoot nearby and wanted to say hi. I said it was funny timing. He said timing was just a door, and brave people walked through. I laughed like it was clever. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong, because we were in public and I was wearing a hoodie. He asked if Evan was still upset. I said Evan was always upset in quiet ways. I said he made me feel guilty for breathing. Miles said I deserved someone who did not punish me for being alive. He said he could tell I was a good woman who had been stuck too long. I let those words sit inside me. I did not push them away. We did not go onto the main floor. We walked down the locker hallway, where the music was softer. He asked if I wanted coffee after. I said maybe, because maybe kept options open. He said I looked like I had been carrying a heavy bag for years. I said marriage was like that. He said it did not have to be. My phone buzzed. It was Evan. I did not answer. I watched it vibrate, then go still. A missed call always felt like power. I told myself I would call back later and say I did not hear it. Miles asked if I was okay. I said yes, and I said Evan called too much. Miles asked if Evan tracked me. I said Evan liked control. I said he pretended it was love. Miles shook his head like he was on my side. That was what I wanted. I wanted a witness who agreed with me. When I got back to my car, the parking garage was dim and echoing. I checked my phone and saw another missed call from no caller ID. That was strange. I told myself it was spam. I told myself it did not matter. Still, it left a cold dot in my stomach. At home, Evan did not mention the calls. He asked if the gym was busy. I said yes. He asked if I had a good workout. I said I felt better than I had in weeks. He nodded again, and he went back to cutting vegetables. His calm was like a wall with no handles. Later that week, we had a community fundraiser at a local hall. Evan's company sponsored a table, and my workplace had a small booth too. It was one of those events where everyone acted kind but watched each other. There were string lights, raffle baskets, and a stage with a mic that kept squealing. Janelle was there, of course. She wore a bright dress and carried her phone like a trophy. She told me the crowd loved the rooftop clip. She said people were still talking about my backup groom. I told her to relax, but I smiled while I said it. I liked that the joke had legs. I liked that it made me look wanted. Evan stood beside our table with the kids. Noah held a paper plate and looked tired. Elsie kept grabbing the balloons. Evan asked if I could stay close because it was crowded. I said I was right here. Then I drifted anyway because I hated being managed. Janelle pulled me toward the drink station. She said we needed a photo for the fundraiser page. She said it would show we were supportive women. She pointed the camera at me and asked if I was still taking applications for husband number 2. I laughed, and I said she was wild. Evan heard her. He looked over. He asked me later why she said that again. I said he was listening too hard. I said he should talk to someone else and stop staring at me like a guard. He said he was not staring. He said he was trying to understand. I said he did not need to understand jokes, he needed to learn to take them. Miles arrived with a small camera bag. He said he was filming highlights for the event. I told Evan that Miles was just helping. Evan said hello to Miles in a flat, polite voice. Miles said Evan looked serious. Evan said he was fine. Miles smiled at me like he had won something. I could feel eyes on us. Not everyone, but enough. I heard whispers that stopped when I turned my head. That should have scared me. Instead, it made me want to perform. I made my laugh louder. I touched Miles's arm once like it was normal. I told myself it was friendly. Janelle climbed onto a chair near our table and called people over for a group shot. She said we should do a funny couple moment. She pointed at Evan and said he looked like he wanted to fight the backup groom. People laughed again. Some lifted their phones. One person actually started recording. Evan did not yell. He did not shove anyone. He did not even tell her to stop. He only turned his body slightly, like he was stepping out of a frame. He picked up Elsie and moved her closer to Noah. Then he looked at me, not angry, not begging. He looked tired, like a man watching a storm from inside a car. That look made me feel trapped. I wanted him to be the villain, but he was acting like a calm parent in public. So I did what I always did. I made his calm look like cruelty. I walked up to him and asked if he was going to punish me all night. He asked what I meant. I said he was doing his silent treatment again. He said he was only trying to keep the kids calm. I said the kids were fine, and he was the one creating tension. He asked if we could talk at home. I said no, because he always tried to corner me in private. He didn't argue. He took Noah's hand and led the kids to the restroom area. I watched him go. I saw a faint blue light in his palm for a second, like a phone screen. I heard a soft beep, very quick, then nothing. It could have been anything. A text, a timer, a game for Elsie. But my mind grabbed it anyway. After the fundraiser, in the car, Evan asked if I understood how public it had become. I said he was the one making it public by reacting. He said he had not reacted. I said his face was a reaction. I said his silence was a message to everyone. He asked if I heard myself. I said I heard a man who wanted to control my life. At home, the kids went to bed fast. Evan did not come into our room. I heard him in the kitchen, moving things slowly. Then I heard the shredder hum for a few seconds, like someone chewing paper. I froze in the hallway, then walked away like I did not care. In bed, I opened my phone and saw that someone had posted a fundraiser clip. Janelle had tagged me again. The caption said, "Backup Groom energy." In the video, Evan was in the background, stepping away, holding our child like a shield from the joke. I stared at Evan's face on the screen. He looked calm. He looked lawful. He looked like a man who had decided something without telling anyone. And for the first time, I felt a real fear that my smile could not cover. The family dinner was Sharon's idea. My mother said we needed to stop the internet noise and sit like adults. She said food fixed problems. I knew she really meant that a public table could force Evan to behave. A man could not look angry in front of grandparents and children. A woman could look brave. We met at a family restaurant with a long table near the back. It smelled like fried bread and lemon cleaner. The kids got crayons, and Noah drew a bridge without thinking. Evan watched him draw and asked what the bridge connected. Noah said it connected home to school. Evan nodded like that meant something bigger. Sharon arrived first with my dad, Victor, and my sister Tara. Sharon hugged me and said I looked tired but strong. Victor patted my shoulder and looked away, like he did not want to pick a side. Tara asked if I was okay. I said I was fine and just dealing with Evan's moods. Evan's parents came next. Gail walked in with a straight back and calm eyes. Ron walked beside her, quiet and slow. Gail greeted the kids first, then Evan, then me. She asked how everyone was sleeping. I said the kids slept fine, but Evan liked to make the house tense. Evan looked at his menu and said nothing. When we sat down, Sharon started talking fast. She asked Evan if work was stressing him. Evan said work was busy but normal. Sharon asked why he looked so serious in the fundraiser clip. Evan said he was holding Elsie and trying to leave early. Sharon said it looked like he was upset over a joke. Evan said jokes were only jokes when everyone laughed. That line made my face warm. I leaned forward and said he was being dramatic again. I said he always needed to be right. I said the joke was not about him. Tara looked at me like she wanted to say something, then stopped. Victor asked if we could keep it calm for the kids. I said I was calm, and Evan was the one with the cold face. Gail asked me what the joke was. I pretended it was small. I said Janelle teased me about being popular and having options. Gail asked why that had to be said in public. I said people were jealous, and Evan could not handle attention. Evan finally looked up and asked if I really believed that. I said yes, because it was the only story that let me breathe. Ron asked if we could focus on routines for the children. He asked who was doing school pickup this week. I said I did most of it, because Evan stayed late. Evan said he had been doing pickup 3 days a week for months. I told him he was counting like a scorekeeper. He said it was not a score, he said it was a fact. Sharon asked Evan if he was trying to control my schedule. Evan said he was trying to know the kids' schedule. Sharon said he could just trust me. Evan said trust was hard when stories kept changing. I said my stories did not change, his interpretation did. I said he took normal things and made them dark. The waiter came, and the kids asked for fries. Everyone acted polite for a minute. I used that minute to breathe and plan. I had to make Evan look like the problem. If he looked like the problem, I looked like the victim. That was the deal my mind offered me. When the food arrived, Noah asked why Dad slept in the guest room. The question landed in the middle of plates and forks. Sharon frowned and said, "Children should not worry about adult issues." I smiled at Noah and said, "Dad was just resting because he worked hard." Evan said he slept there because it was quieter. I said he chose it to punish me. Evan said he chose it to avoid fighting. Tara asked me later, softly, if I was talking to someone else. I laughed and said she had been watching too many videos online. Tara said she was serious. I said she was being dramatic like Evan. I saw her eyes drop, and I felt a small twist of guilt, but I pushed it away fast. Gail asked Evan if he felt safe at home. Evan said he felt safe, but he felt disrespected. Sharon scoffed and said disrespect was a strong word. Evan said public jokes and public posts had real effects. Sharon said he was punishing me with silence. Evan said he was not punishing, he was stepping back. I leaned into that and told everyone he had been giving me the silent treatment. I said he acted like I was dirty. I said he wanted to make me beg. Evan looked at his napkin and asked why I always framed it that way. I said because it was true. I said he was emotionally cold and used calm like a weapon. Victor finally spoke. He said he did not like videos of family problems online. He said it made everyone look bad. Sharon asked if he was blaming me. Victor said he was blaming the whole situation. I told him Evan started it by acting jealous at the bar. Evan said he asked one question at the bar, and I turned it into an insult. I said he was rewriting history. By the time dessert came, the table felt split down the middle. Sharon sat close to me and touched my hand like she was protecting me. Tara sat quiet and stared at her water. Gail watched Evan like she was checking his breathing. Ron talked to Noah about school and kept the kids smiling. Evan stayed polite, but his eyes looked farther away than the wall. After we left, the air outside was cold and sharp. Evan buckled the kids into the car. Gail asked if she could take the kids for ice cream on Saturday. Evan said yes and checked his phone. I saw a screen with a school schedule on it, then it was gone. I asked what he was looking at. He said he was confirming pickup times. On Friday, I went to the school pickup line. I wanted to be seen. I wanted other parents to see me as the stable one. Evan pulled in behind me and parked with the front of his car facing the street, like he wanted an easy exit. He did not wave. He looked down at his phone again. When the kids came out, Noah ran to Evan first. That made me angry because it felt like betrayal. I told myself it was because Evan gave him too many treats. Evan asked Noah about his day. Noah said he had a spelling test. Evan said he was proud and asked to see the paper later. Then Evan took a quick photo of the posted school calendar near the door. It was a simple move, but it looked planned. I asked him why he took a photo. He said he liked having backups. I said backups were for people who did not trust others. He said backups were for children, not for adults. I asked what that meant. He said it meant the kids deserved consistency. At home that night, I saw a sticky note on the counter that said, "Bring forms." I did not know what forms. I did not ask because I did not want an answer. The printer in the corner spit out one blank page and then stopped. The smell of toner hung in the air for a second. Evan picked up the page, looked at it, and put it in a folder without a label. I followed him into the hallway and asked why he was acting like I did not exist. He asked why I needed him to react so badly. I said because he was my husband and he owed me a conversation. He said conversations needed honesty. I said I had been honest, and he was the one hiding. He walked toward the guest room. I stood on the hallway landing and watched his hand touch the doorknob. He paused and asked if I was ready to stop the public jokes and the public posts. I said he was trying to silence me. He said he was trying to protect the kids from shame. I told him the kids were fine, and he was the one making drama. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded once, like he was accepting a final answer. He went into the guest room and shut the door softly. I stayed there in the dim hall, listening to the quiet house, and I realized he was not waiting for me to change. He was waiting for something else. I started to feel the ground move under me, so I did what I always did. I tried to grab control with noise. I told myself Evan's calm was a trick. I told myself he was trying to make me look guilty by acting peaceful. If he stayed quiet, people would fill the silence with their own story, and I could not stand not being the author. On Saturday morning, I picked a fight on purpose, but I called it honesty. I asked Evan why he was acting like a stranger in our house. He said he was not acting. He was trying to keep things stable for the kids. I said stable was just another word for cold. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted him to admit he was hurting me with silence. He said silence was better than shouting. I said he was making me the villain. He said he was not making anything. He was only observing what was happening. That word, observing, made my skin prickle. I asked what he meant by that. He said he meant he was watching patterns and keeping routines. I laughed and said he sounded like a robot. He said I could call it what I wanted, but the kids needed consistency. I told him the kids were fine, and he was using them as a shield. He said he was not using them, he was protecting them. Later, I went to the supermarket with the kids because I wanted the public. A store was full of witnesses who did not know the real story. I could act normal there. I could be the smiling mother with the cart, and no one would see the mess behind my eyes. Noah asked for cereal with a cartoon animal. I said yes, because it kept him quiet. Elsie asked for a small toy near the aisle. I said maybe, because I was already irritated. At the checkout, I saw Evan a few lanes away with a basket. He had only a few things, fruit, soap, and something for the kids' lunches. He looked like he was shopping for a separate life, but I told myself I was imagining it. A woman from the fundraiser line was behind me. She asked how things were going. I said we were fine. She said she saw the backup groom joke again online. I laughed and said people needed hobbies. She asked if Evan was upset. I said he was always upset, and he liked to punish me with moods. She nodded like she understood. That nod felt good, even though it was built on my version. When I pushed the cart outside, Evan walked out too. He said he would take the kids home and start dinner. I asked why he was acting like we were divorced already. He said he was not acting. He was doing what needed doing. I told him he was trying to humiliate me in public, by being the good man. He said he was not performing, and he asked me to lower my voice because the kids were right there. In the car, Noah asked why I sounded mad. I said I was not mad, I was just tired. Evan said the kids did not need to hear us argue. I said we were not arguing, he was just refusing to talk. Evan said refusing to talk and refusing to listen were different things. I said he was twisting words again. At home, I followed him to the bedroom doorway while he carried grocery bags. I asked if he was going to sleep in the guest room forever. He said he would sleep where it was calm. I asked if I was not calm enough for him. He said calm was a choice, and he could not force anyone to choose it. I told him he was acting superior. I said he was punishing me because I embarrassed him. He asked how I would feel if the roles were switched, and he laughed while someone joked he had a backup bride. I said it was not the same, because men always have options anyway. The moment I said it, I knew it was cruel, but I did not take it back. Taking it back would mean admitting he had a point. He put the bags down and looked at me like he was deciding where I ended and where he began. He asked if I was seeing Miles. I laughed too fast and said he was obsessed. He asked if I could answer without insults. I said Miles was a friend of a friend, and I was allowed to have friends. Evan said friends did not hide messages, and friends did not need cover stories. I said I did not have cover stories. He said my late nights and errands did not match each other anymore. I felt my chest tighten, and anger rushed in to cover the fear. I told him he was spying. I told him he was controlling. I told him he was the reason I needed space. He asked why I always made it about his flaws instead of my choices. I said because he pushed me into this. I said I had been lonely for years. I said he chose work over me. I said he left me emotionally first. He asked what lonely meant when I had a house, children, and support. I said lonely meant unseen. I said he looked through me like glass. He said he heard me right now, and he was still here. I said he was only here to judge me. That afternoon, Janelle called. She asked if I wanted to go out that night to reset. I said maybe. Evan heard the word maybe and asked what it meant. I said it meant I was not a prisoner. He said he was not trying to lock me up. He said he wanted to know who would put the kids to bed. I said he always made everything about logistics. He said logistics were what kept children safe. I went to the bathroom and texted Miles. I said I felt trapped. He replied that I deserved freedom. He wrote that some men only understood consequences. That line made me feel bold, like I was in a movie where the heroine finally breaks the chains. I ignored the part where I made the chains myself. In the evening, I stood in the driveway with my coat on, keys in hand, waiting for Evan to ask me to stay. I wanted him to grab my wrist gently, not in violence, just in need. I wanted him to say he could change. I wanted him to beg, because begging would mean I still had power. Instead, he walked out with the kids' backpacks for Sunday at his parents' place. Gail's car was already parked at the curb. Evan told Noah to put his shoes on. He told Elsie to find her stuffed rabbit. He moved like a man following a plan. I asked Evan if he was really sending the kids away because he was mad at me. He said he was sending them to their grandparents because they loved them and because the house had too much tension. I said the tension was his fault. He said the tension came from disrespect and lies. I stepped closer and asked if he was going to leave me. He looked at me for a long second, then spoke in the same even tone. He said he was going to handle it properly. He said he would not fight in front of the children, and he would not argue in circles anymore. I tried to laugh, but it came out thin. I asked what properly meant. He said it meant he would do it the right way, the lawful way, and the calm way. Then he opened the back door for the kids, buckled them in, and closed the door with care, like even the sound mattered more to him than my tears. On Monday, I went to work like nothing happened. I told myself Evan was bluffing. I told myself he only wanted to scare me so I would behave. I wore a neat blouse and did my hair like I was on a billboard. If I looked confident, I could still win. By late morning, Dana asked me to come downstairs. She said a visitor was in the lobby and asked for me by name. I asked who it was. She said she did not know, and it sounded formal. I laughed and said it was probably a delivery. Dana did not laugh back. The office tower lobby was bright and cold, all glass and polished stone. People walked through with badges and coffee. A security guard stood near the doors and watched everything like it was a quiet job. I saw Evan by the reception desk. He looked the same as always. Clean shirt, calm face, hand steady. He did not look like a man who lost control. He looked like a man who had already made peace with his decision. A woman stood near him with a folder. She was not dressed like a friend. She was dressed like a person who carried rules. She asked if I was Berenice Calder. I said yes and asked why Evan was here. Evan said we did not need a scene. I said he brought the scene here. He said he brought a process. The woman said she had documents for me. I asked if it was a prank. She said it was not a prank and asked me to confirm my name again. I said it again, louder this time, because the lobby felt like a stage, and I did not want to look small. I saw 2 co-workers near the elevators. They slowed down when they noticed me. I felt heat crawl up my neck. I told Evan he was trying to humiliate me. He asked me to lower my voice. I said he always asked that when he wanted control. He said he was asking because there were strangers, and because the kids did not need more gossip from grown adults. I said the kids were not even here. He said the kids were exactly why this was happening. The woman handed me the folder and said I had been served. I looked at the first page and saw my name and Evan's name. I saw the word divorce. My mouth went dry. I tried to smile like it was a mistake. I said Evan was overreacting to a joke and some online nonsense. Evan said it was not one joke, and it was not nonsense. He said it was a pattern, and he was done living inside it. I flipped pages too fast. My fingers shook, and that made me angrier. I asked Evan if he was really doing this. He said yes and said he was doing it properly. He said he was not going to threaten me, chase me, or beg. He said he was going to follow rules and protect the kids. I told him he was making me look like a monster. He said he was not making me look like anything, and said my posts and messages did enough on their own. I said he was spying again. He said he was documenting, and said there was a difference. The woman watched us like she had seen this 100 times. I scanned the pages and saw schedules. I saw a temporary plan for the children. It listed school pickups, bedtime handoffs, and weekend time. It was specific, like a machine. I saw that the kids would stay with Evan in the house for now, and I would have set times. I saw limits about taking them out of town without written agreement. My eyes jumped to another section, and my stomach dropped. It said I could not empty accounts, run up debt, or sell property. It said both of us had to follow the temporary financial rules. It also said I had to communicate through a structured method about the children, not through late-night fights. I asked Evan if he was trying to take my children. He said he was trying to keep their life steady. I said I was their mother and he could not do this. He said he was not doing it alone and said it was already filed and already in motion. I asked how he could be so calm. He said calm was what the kids deserved. I looked around and saw the security guard watching. I saw my co-workers pretending not to watch. I felt my control slipping in public, and I reached for my old tools. I said Evan had been cold for years. I said he pushed me away. I said I only needed kindness. Evan said the court did not care about my speeches and said the facts would speak. The woman pointed to a line and said I needed to acknowledge receipt. My hand hovered. I wanted to refuse, because refusal felt like power. She said refusal did not stop the process. I signed, and the pen felt heavy. Evan took a small step back, like he was giving me space I did not deserve. He said the first custody exchange time was written on the page, and it started today. He said he would pick up the kids after school, and I would see them at the scheduled time. Then he nodded once, turned, and walked out of the lobby without looking back.